And if you remember, I think it was at our very first meeting, we talked about that. We had the strategic plan, we had the college mission statement, and made the point that all of this has to be consistent with, be aligned with. Okay, here's what I was thinking, that if we took the statement as is, and then, well, with maybe some further modifications, and then did, you know, the bullet kind of thing that included the diversity, equity, inclusivity piece, would you be comfortable with that?
I'm not comfortable with 21st century, because I don't know what that means.
Okay, well, we can go back and look at that. Would you be comfortable with doing it this way?
Let me see what you...
So it would basically be this statement with some further modifications.
I don't mind the word modifications, but I still think that the statement is too generic. It doesn't tell me anything. I don't know. Is that supposed to be kind of our marketing mission? And how is that different from anything else? And what is the hallmark or the brand or the mark of distinction? Is it leaders as learners? Because the knowledge, skills, and disposition is kind of academic jargonistic something. We see it across our teacher prep program. We hear it within the NCATE standards. We see it within the Wisconsin teacher standards. So they just jump out at me. It's something I want to invest in.
I agree. That's why to me, the third one of all the ones is the most generic. And that's why I didn't choose that one at all. Even if we could add dynamic, you know, because we don't even say that in that third one. And then again, even teachers in teacher ed in the state of Wisconsin they don't even know what dispositions are. We have to go out and define that for educators who have heard the word. But if this is for everybody, leaders, nobody knows what that word means whatsoever. And again, if we're not defining 21st century, then yeah, nobody knows what that means either. It just doesn't stand out.
I like the first sentence with number 4, just to throw that out there.
Okay, Heidi, would you read those things down on the bottom again?
By the way, global perspective. Oh, sorry. Okay.
That didn't last very long.
Align with standards. Future goals. And then
Okay, here's my question. Right. Well, to all of you, right, particularly, and Jill are making this point, that this phrase, 21st century, knowledge, skills, and disposition, is cliched almost, very generic. Does this, is what we mean by 21st century these things? That is, what I'm trying to do is to say, what do we mean when we say 21st century? We mean what? Do we mean that it involves global perspective, that it addresses issues of equity, diversity, and inclusivity. Standards line, you know, I put it there, but, you know, maybe it doesn't rise to that level.
That's not 21st century, because that's always been there and driven things so much in terms of the standards.
Future focused. You see what I'm trying to get at? If 21st century is too vague, and you know, it does strike me that it is kind of cliche-ish now, then we ought to have something in its place. And we could still have 21st century there, but then if we have, how many of you think standard line doesn't rise to that level? Anybody think it does? Okay, so. Is that 21st century? That is future focused, incorporates global perspectives, and addresses issues of equity, diversity, and inclusivity. How many of you think that's what you have in mind when you throw out the phrase, this program is 21st century? Am I losing you?
No, I'm thinking.
I think it's better if we look at the 21st century attributes that we have here on our chart. That's what we said 21st century is. Based, interdisciplinary, integrated, experiential, focusing on adult learners, cultural immersion, experiential. So,
I'm just gonna look up another, I have a slide that I use, just keep going, on 21st century.
Where are you looking at those? Oh, okay, all
21st
right.
century. And then there's there's this partnership for America's future that sort of captures this notion of 21st century. I mean, so it's defined out there in various ways. I think if we want to use it, we want to.
Can you read those to me? Because I can't.
Want me to write it up?
Or yeah.
Okay. See if you can find something that says Partnership for America's Future.
They have also have a 21st century to our
All right. Can we agree to this? That we will have the base statement and that we will have bulleted items that reflect, that elaborate on it. Can we agree to that?
If we agree we're gonna have bulleted statements, perhaps then we should get a statement that we agree on.
Right, but I'm
Yeah.
looking at the structure piece. So if we have, we're gonna have the base statement and we're gonna have bulleted pieces that explicate that central statement. Okay, so let's hone in on the statement, all right? So we have, the one where dispositions was problematic there. Gail pointed that out, and I did some checking after Gail said that to see if the word disposition appears in areas outside of education. It does a little bit, but not very much.
Gail,
What would
Gail,
be-
which Gail pointed that out?
Gail Sakati.
So what would be a notion that kind of gets at that?
Well,
Because it's more than, to me, it's more than knowledge and skills.
It's attitudes, beliefs, and values. That's what
right.
dispositions are.
But, what would be one word that would say that?